13 की 13 सीट आप आम आदमी पार्टी को दीजिएगा, हमारे हाथ मजबूत कीजिएगा।
Mamata Banerjee will be a basically credible face with credibility.
Congress has always taken the initiative as far as taking an anti-BJP stand throughout the country.
खड़गे फड़गे का नाम नहीं जानता है, अभी नाम बोले हैं तुम सुने हैं। आम पब्लिक नीतीश कुमार को जानता है।
ये अलायंस की बैठक में चाय समोसे पर ही मीटिंग समझाएगी।
You, Mr. Gandhi, you must understand. You must understand that I have been appointed here only to say Narendra Modi.
नहीं सुनिए, देखिए वहाँ पे हमारे 150 एमपीज को बाहर फेंक दिया है, ठीक है। उसके बारे में मीडिया में कोई चर्चा नहीं हो रही है, ठीक है। उनको आपने पार्लियामेंट से बाहर उठा के फेंक दिया, उसकी कोई चर्चा नहीं हो रही है।
जिनका दृष्टिकोण भारतीय है वो समझ सकता है कितने बड़े गौरव की बात है, मगर इटालियन चश्मा जिन्होंने पहना है वो इसको नहीं समझ सकते।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The winter freeze has set in the parliament this winter session. What should have been the last full productive session of the 17th Lok Sabha, unfortunately, was eclipsed by the din of suspensions and showdowns. After repeated disruptions, 146 opposition members of parliament were suspended for indiscipline. This has prompted India partners to hit the streets to save democracy as the latest protest. The Sarkar, however, says that disruptions cannot save democracy. So whom will Bharat believe? Times Now is the only channel with its finger on the pulse of the nation. We will, over the next half an hour, get you the opinion polls which will give you a glimpse into what New India thinks. 3 months ahead of polls, the opposition hopes to stem the Modi wave, but friction over chai samosa and mimicry of the Vice President of India has kept the alliance burning. Can Kharge lead the divided camp to victory, or is there no alternative to Narendra Modi? It's time to get you the Times Now ETG survey, the most definitive and extensively researched opinion poll. And before we go across to the numbers, let's take a look at the methodology of this poll. Sample size of nearly 25,000 people, 40% on field research and 60% is telephonic interviews that were conducted. And we asked people in the middle of all this chai samosa India Gathbandhan, and today Kharge Vadge is what another member of parliament or another JDU member actually said about the choice of Kharge as the prime ministerial face. And on the other side, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting the place where the meeting for strategizing of 2024 elections with the office bearers of the BJP was done today, the day after Parliament was adjourned sine die. So let's take a look at what India thinks. But before I do that, let me introduce to you my panel this evening. Dr. Ajay Alok, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, joining this debate. Also joining me this evening, Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. Sabha Naqvi, senior journalist. Abbas Haider, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And Abdul Basit, leader of the RJD, joining this special edition of the Newshour tonight. And question number one coming up on your screens. The first question that we asked people today is, can Kharge lead India to victory against Prime Minister Modi in 2024? And the results coming up on your screen. Yes, he can, 28%. No, there should be a different candidate, 26%. It doesn't matter who is the face, 46%. So maximum number of people actually feel doesn't matter who the face is. This time, it's really not the time for the India alliance to make any dent to Narendra Modi. Question number 2 coming up on your screens again. Should Rahul Gandhi be the face against Prime Minister Modi in 2024? Only 19% of the people felt Rahul Gandhi could be a challenger to Narendra Modi. Someone else 27%, but 54% people believe, can't say, whoever it is, whichever name comes up, not really making a difference. Probably that's what this can't say really means. Question number 3 coming up on your screens. Apart from Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, who else can be India bloc's prime ministerial face? So 26% votes go to Mamata Banerjee, 24% to Arvind Kejriwal, 21% to Akhilesh Yadav, and 29% to Nitish Kumar. Even Stevens literally quite here. Nitish Kumar, Mamata Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal, Akhilesh Yadav. That's the way the stack is. But certainly Rahul Gandhi at a 19%. Tough call for the Congress party between Kharge and Rahul Gandhi. So Tehseen Poonawala, first reaction from you.
Ji.
I'm not seeing too much traction either for Kharge or for Rahul Gandhi compared to the other leaders. And many feel, if you look at the 54% can't say and 43% who say that koi bhi face rakh lo, shayad is baar mushkil hi hai. How do you react to these views that are coming from the people of India?
Namaskar, Navika ji. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I think it's important that the India Alliance acknowledge that the people of India do find that Prime Minister Modi is in a strong position. And I think positions to attack Prime Minister Modi are pertinent positions. For example, 5 of our soldiers who were martyred yesterday, the terrorists have released the video. We've not heard from the government of India or the Honorable Prime Minister who spends every Diwali with soldiers. Their bodies were mutilated, their heads were cut off as per the videos. We've not heard a tweet. Imagine if this was another government. Bajrang Punia just now returned his Padma Shri at the Prime Minister's gate. And Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who was molesting women for protein powder, Delhi police has charged him, has still not been kicked out by the Honorable Prime Minister and Home Minister. These surveys will show the Prime Minister in the lead. It will, because the Prime Minister is not being questioned on things that need to be questioned. My suggestion to the opposition is get him on these issues. And I hope these are the issues that the media takes up rather than frivolous issues. And I also want to congratulate you, ma'am. Your interview with the Lok Sabha Speaker, I think, was fabulous. I hope the opposition learns from that.
Parliamentary Affairs Minister.
Oh, I thought you interviewed Om Birla ji. Sorry, Parliamentary Affairs Minister. So that was a good one. But I saw the Om Birla thing as well, the views of Om Birla ji. So congratulations.
Well, Ajay Alok, Prime Minister is not being attacked on the right issues by the opposition, says Tehseen Poonawala. If he were to be attacked on the right issues, the results may be different. Please respond to Tehseen Poonawala. And is it the BJP's duty to hand over the right issues to the opposition to attack the Prime Minister with?
Well, I think Tehseen should advise this to Rahul Gandhi or to the Gandhi family instead of advising this on the national television, that they should come up with the right issue. The problem is, what is the right issue for them? Rafale was the right issue. Movid was the right issue. Attack on the parliament and is because of unemployment is right issue. Appeasement policy following all throughout the country is a right issue. These are the right issues for them and for what they have been attacking the government, so let them. I'll tell you one thing about Modi ji. ईश्वर का दिया हुआ कभी अल्प नहीं होता, जो बीच में टूट जाए वो संकल्प नहीं होता. Here is the Prime Minister who is there with a commitment for the nation, commitment for the people, commitment to serve the people, commitment to live for the people. And he has done it. Don't forget, this is the same Prime Minister who first time came into the power when he was only 52 years old. Before that, he was neither an MLA nor a corporation member even. Forget about being a minister or not from any so-called family. And when he became Gujarat CM, he was just flooded with the Gujarat riots and the way he managed it. And then everything is history for the last 21 years, what he has delivered to the nation. Don't forget that you're fighting with a man who has risen from the ground, who knows the ground reality, who understands the pain of a common man, who understands the problem of a common man. And at the same time, he's at the peak of the technological depth, where he wants to integrate the downtrodden with the technology so that we can move forward. So
please allow me to respond.
Please allow me to respond. Rahul Gandhi have a vision to counter Prime Minister.
Please allow me to respond.
You are talking nanotechnology and you are talking quantum physics. You're talking quantum physics doesn't make Congress talking the same length and breadth.
Respond.
What is the artificial intelligence? What is whatever you say on the television, Tehseen? I know you are a brilliant person, but the same thing does not apply to your leader Rahul Gandhi. Today also he has given the same statement. कि देशभक्ति की बात करने वाले धुआं फटते ही भाग गए
गैस सिलेंडर से।
संसद में सुरक्षा हुई उनकी गलती थी, गैस सिलेंडर से संसद सुरक्षा में चूक हुई उनकी गलती थी, लेकिन ये इसलिए हुआ क्योंकि देश में भयंकर बेरोजगारी है। मतलब he is giving a soft shoulder to those terrorists who has infiltrated our parliament, and now different strings are coming out. God knows what will happen to this country. People like Rahul Gandhi or things like I.N.D.I.A alliance comes to this power. People of this country understand that.
Quick rebut, Tehseen.
Two quick lines. What will happen to this country? I just said our soldiers, the terrorists have released videos of beheading of one of our soldiers. We've had no response from the government. Zero. But let me address the parliamentary question and security question, because that's been raised by you, Ajay Bhai. Ye ek choti ghatna hai. I'm quoting the Honorable Speaker Om Birla ji verbatim. Defense Minister said, "Aare passes theek se dena." You all haven't taken it seriously. You all. And if it was a terrorist attack, which it is, why hasn't the Honorable Home Minister spoken when he spoke to a TV channel? You all are the ones who are trivializing it. And you're blaming the opposition for what is a failure. Till now, the BJP MP who gave the passes, I'm not saying he's guilty, has not been summoned by police. He's not been questioned. Why? That is it. You are playing with the country's security and you're playing with the country's future.
Well,
Rahul Gandhi is the only one who's leading this country.
Then Tehseen Poonawala, the questions have also been raised about a non-MLA going and sitting in the assembly of Karnataka for a complete hour before the security in Karnataka assembly even realized. Now that is a Congress government. The BJP is not, beating his chest and calling them unemployed people who have just been misguided and come into parliament with gas cylinders. Nobody is saying...
Can I answer that? Can I answer that?
No. You'll get a chance to answer that, but Anand Ranganathan...
Allow me to answer that. No, that's a false equivalence, ma'am. I have a lot of respect to you. That man, whoever it was, he should be punished, but he wasn't bursting gas cylinders. He wasn't doing that. He was caught by the security. The security was clueless that somebody jumped in with gas cylinders. It's a false equivalence. You cannot compare the two.
So your security breach is better than the parliament security breach. तुम्हारी सफेद, तुम्हारी कमीज से ज़्यादा सफेद, BJP की कम सफेद. Anand Ranganathan, that is the logic that we are being given here. Please respond.
No, absolutely. Good evening, Navika. Good evening to all my fellow panelists. That logic has been going on from the Congress table for the last 10 years. कि हमारी कमीज आपकी कमीज से सफेद है. There is no bones about it, and they are quite forthright about it now. Let me give you the example. My good friend Tehseen said, look, Modi has not been asked these questions, and neither has he answered the important questions. He's right. Modi should have come out and answered on Manipur very quickly. He didn't for ages. Modi should have answered very quickly about the parliament attack, which was a terror attack according to the BJP. He didn't. Modi should have answered about why, when he accused someone of 70,000 crore scam, the next day he's teaming up with him. He didn't. But then the same goes for Rahul as well. Rahul should have answered why, when the farm laws were verbatim in his manifesto and he took a U-turn. Rahul should have asked, why is it that 85,000 crores of Adani's investment is still in his Congress states and he's accusing Adani of being corrupt? So politicians have their time of choosing and, deciding what to answer, what not to answer. But that is not the thrust of this debate. Tehseen has, I'm afraid, steamrolled it. The thrust is, can I.N.D.I.A alliance win? Kharge or not Kharge? To answer to your first two questions, the public has been unequivocal. It says 45% are saying कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, खरगे हो ना हो, आएगा तो मोदी, basically, right? Now, why is that? Because Navika, in very blatant, I'm sorry, and I'm not being crude out here or facetious, the fact of the matter is India can see that each one of these parties that form the I.N.D.I.A alliance are going hammer and tongs at each other, accusing each other of sectarianism, terrorism, death of democracy, corruption, horse trading. How on earth are they going to solve all these issues when they come together? Public can see this.
Absolutely, and that is the issue. What they do with the issue, also an issue that we asked questions to people about. Question number 4 coming up on your screens. What would you like to say to the opposition for 2024? Fight together, the result may change. 38% of the people said yes, you should fight together, the result can change. But are they together? Forget about PM face, find mudde to counter Modi. 21% of the people feel you don't have the right issues. Let's also look at forget 24, start preparing for 2029. 41% of the people feel 24 mein to chance nahi hai, 29 mein dekh lena. Now, question number 5. Why does the opposition seem to be lagging behind in 2024 polls? Lack of coordination, 12%. Lack of selecting the right issue, 34%. Lack of a face like Narendra Modi, 54%. That is where the opposition's really its Achilles heels is. Let's also look at question number 6. What's your opinion on the opposition MP's suspension on disciplinarian issues? Now here, government step is wrong, 34% of the people said. Government step is right, 46%. Can't say 20%. A lot of people believe that this is a right step because Parliament has been made into the theatre of the absurd. I want to ask you, Abbas Haider, what would you respond to this? After all, people feel कि taxpayer के पैसे से Parliament चलती है, काम तो वहाँ होता नहीं. कोई प्लेकार्ड लेके जा रहा है, कोई कागज फाड़ के स्पीकर पर फेंक रहा है. So suspension is good. You're not even picking up the right issues according to this survey.
Navika ji, for a change, I would agree with Mr. Ajay Alok that my Prime Minister is committed. Yes, he is committed to destroy the parliamentary and democratic structure of our country. He is committed. For the past 9 years, we have seen the deterioration of the parliamentary and democratic values of our country. There is no deputy speaker in the Lok Sabha. You know, the average discussion time on a bill in parliament is between 4 to 5 minutes. The referring of bill to the parliamentary committees has gone down. Number of ordinance has gone up. This is what has happened. And by, suspending 146 MP, what does the government want to do? What do they want to do? They basically want to stop the voice of common people. They have been elected by more than 100 million people of the country. I mean, you are stopping the voice of them. Yes, you can stop them in the house, but you cannot stop them in the street. And this is certain that I.N.D.I.A alliance is coming together. We are together because I.N.D.I.A alliance is carrying the aspiration of the people of the country. And when I.N.D.I.A alliance was not together, we have seen the result in Madhya Pradesh. It was in favor of Bharatiya Janata Party. But this is not going to happen in 2024. Certainly, all the parties are coming together. You have shown in your survey, there are leaders, people of the country want X leader, Y leader to become the Prime Minister. But none of them has shown his or her aspiration to become the Prime Minister. This is a very positive thing, which is, contrary to Bharatiya Janata Party. I mean, they want other person to become the Prime Minister. They want, it's in the larger good, in the larger interest of the nation, we are coming together. I think this should be welcomed, and Bharatiya Janata Party is frustrated. They know that we are going to lose in 2024. I mean, look at the otherwise they would have not suspended so
Abbas Haider, Bharatiya Janata Party, in case you missed the news, the Bharatiya Janata Party won 3 of the 5 states where nobody was giving them a chance, at least Navika 2 of those states. And you're saying they are frustrated and the I.N.D.I.A alliance is upbeat.
Navika ji, I agree with you. They have won 3 states, but at the same time, another allied partner of I.N.D.I.A alliance has got 10 lakh more vote than Bharatiya Janata Party.
Ajay Alok,
for the reality.
Ajay Alok, आप जीते पर वोट उनके ज़्यादा हैं, so they are in a better place than you. Please respond.
If winning is frustration, I think I'll be frustrated for the next 50 years, and so does the Bharatiya Janata Party. If that's what opposition believes, let them believe that. This is so ridiculous and absurd. My dear friend, when we contested in all the 3 states,
I'm talking about the popular vote.
Whether it is Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh or Chhattisgarh, our vote share was, please listen to me now. Our vote share was much more ahead than Congress. Our seat was much more ahead than Congress. Only in Telangana, where we became double, that is from 6.99 to 13.8. Our assembly seats went from 1 to 8. And there you scored the margin. That's why you have those 9 or 10 lakhs vote extra. But when you come to the country's average, we are crossing 50% nearly. You are nowhere near to us. And what about I.N.D.I.A alliance you are talking about? 2017, Congress and Samajwadi Party together contested the election, Vidhan Sabha election, the more keenly contested election than the Lok Sabha prospective. How much you were able to make? You were 48 and Congress was something like 4 or 7. In 2019, again, you made an experiment that Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party will contest together. What happened? You were reduced to 5, Bahujan Samaj Party went up to 10. Now this time Bahujan Samaj Party is not with your I.N.D.I.A alliance. What are you going to do? And which other party of the I.N.D.I.A alliance is going to come and help you in Uttar Pradesh? Uttar Pradesh will be the graveyard for I.N.D.I.A alliance. Mark my words, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. You will be wiped off.
Well, let's wait and watch for that.
It's not because that we are high-headed. It's because we are working on the ground and the people are frustrated with you.
Well, let me get in Sabha Naqvi. Sabha Naqvi, the question here is the I.N.D.I.A alliance really on a track to challenge Narendra Modi? That's the basic question everybody is asking. Let me ask you, 4 meetings of the I.N.D.I.A alliance. In the 4 meetings, they neither have a consensus on the prime ministerial phase because Kharge's name was announced by Kejriwal and Mamta Banerjee, but not everybody has supported it. It's an open question. Many parties have officially come out and said no convener so far, no seat sharing so far, and seat sharing will be done at state level. And state levels, you've heard Congress in Punjab, you've heard I.N.D.I.A Party, you've heard Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh, you've heard TMC in Bengal. It's not easy at all for this. 4 meetings, no consensus on basically anything just yet. Do you think they have a fighting chance, number one? And number two, on the issues that they have picked up so far, the public feels that they haven't really picked up the right issues, including the suspension of MPs, not finding that much traction. So I want to ask you, Sabha Naqvi, is the I.N.D.I.A alliance really up against a gigantic, gigantic slope if it really has to, in any realistic manner, challenge Modi?
First of all, I'd like to say that the most pressing issue, I don't care what any opinion poll says, what has happened in Parliament is shocking. And anyone who wishes for the welfare of a democracy and institution should be outraged. It's not about political contest. You threw out 146 elected people and you gave us sermons about Dhankar, who's not elected, his feelings being hurt, and then you do nothing about all the women who are from the same caste, who have been protesting because you've got a thug as an MP in UP who you don't want to get rid of. I am outraged, and I will say this everywhere. It is not anybody can win elections, but all of us have to be vigilant when our institutions are destroyed. So I'll say that, yes, I.N.D.I.A alliance has an uphill task. The BJP is very strong. They control the media. Look at the conversation you're having right now. You're making it out to be as if the suspension of the MPs is okay because the public is saying it's okay. Let's destroy Parliament. Let's chuck them out and uphold and completely have an upheaval on the criminal laws. Have you examined the criminal laws? You can be in police custody for 90 days now. And who are the people who end up in jails? It's your tribals, it's your Dalits, it's your Muslims. Please understand the scale of what is happening in this country. You might approve of it. I don't, Navika, but I can analyze.
What gives you the right to say, Sabha Naqvi, that I approve of it? I am putting out a survey many times. What we think should appall us actually is not the issue that is driving the public, and I'm just putting that out. How dare you raise questions about what I and my stand on this issue is? It's not fair, Sabha. You know that.
So let me answer the question about an uphill task. I think it's an uphill task for India Alliance. I think they lost crucial time. They just sat back while the Congress messed up the election campaign. There's no doubt about that. They had momentum and alliances have been formed in this country, including the most successful by the Bharatiya Janata Party of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The current BJP does not have any significant alliances right now. It's all about one figure. One, it is a very centralized authoritarian party. And right now they have deteriorated to the level of chucking out whatever is there of the opposition. I object very strongly to that. And I will take every opportunity. This is dangerous.
Of course, you can take, you're free to take whatever stand you have. And none of us feel that 146 members of parliament should be chucked out of parliament. And I have grilled the parliamentary affairs minister. Please tune in to that interview as well. But don't attribute motives to me. To me, Sabha, that's the only part I take objection to, because if I'm putting out a survey, this is what people are saying. This is not necessarily what I am saying. And Anand Ranganathan, shooting the messenger seems to be the favorite pastime of the opposition and those who are opposed to the Modi way of thinking. Why is that? Humne kya kiya hai bhai?
No, I think let's go by the facts here. The fact of the matter is that on an average, 25% of all sitting MLAs and MPs of every legislative assembly as well as the parliament have serious charges of rape, dacoity and kidnapping. To say that it is specific to BJP, that all the goons are in BJP would be a complete fallacy. When it happens to other parties, then one is silent. Number two, are we a rules-based society or are we not? The same MPs have developed these rules that you cannot carry placards, rush to the well of the house and throw papers after tearing them off at the speaker. These are the rules those guys have made. Now tomorrow, if a similar rule has been made in the Supreme Court of India, somebody jumps up and says, I'm not being heard properly, you're not acceding to my demands, I jump up and down, I carry a placard, what do you think the Supreme Court Chief Justice would do? Ironically, the same people who are saying that this is an outrage, that rules must not be followed, and those people should not be suspended, were the same people, you ask around the panel, who were sitting silent and supporting the illegal blockade of Shaheen Bagh. They just blocked a main arterial road and said, we don't care. We don't care what happens to millions of commuters. Incidentally, the Supreme Court later on said that blocking of the road by Shaheen Bagh protesters was illegal. But did that matter? No. So right to protest for them is right to prevent.
So can I answer?
No, please allow me. Can I
answer? Sabha first and then Tehseen Sabha.
First of all, it's not about goons are everywhere, but we are talking about one goon who has the name called Brij Bhushan Charan Singh. I'm talking about one.
Direct myself towards Sabha. I must clarify.
I am talking about one goon who is a BJP MP against whom women have been weeping and have been protesting. He is a Bharatiya Janata Party MP.
That's true. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good for the BJP. Doesn't look good for the BJP, Ajay Alok, especially when you say a Jat vice president, a farmer's son was attacked, when on the other side an Olympic medalist is actually returning and shunning sports altogether. She's also a Jat beti. What about that? Why is there silence in the BJP on that?
Well, I'll just ask a simple question from you, Sabha, and all the panelists. I win an election, my opponent says I'm going to resign. Is that my problem? Some XYZ wins Kushti Federation election and people are returning their awards. This is the same award of Wapsi gang who were active in 2015, 16 and 17. What do you call them? Why are you equating them to Jat now?
Please allow me to respond.
When we say that the Vice President of India was humiliated, was insulted, and that too by the will and wish of every opposition member sitting there, and with the Rahul Gandhi doing as a cameraman job. Now you say that no, he was not the Vice President, what he was.
No, but you don't respect the chair. One completely agrees that
you say let's go.
I completely agree that it is unprecedented that the chairman of the Rajya Sabha was humiliated in the manner that he was. It is wrong. There is no two ways about it. But then why is Sakshi Malik not important? By the same yardstick.
Please allow me to respond.
Ajay Alok.
Sakshi Malik is not important because Sakshi Malik is not important because she's returning the award just to create a sensation, because the case is already going on in the court. There was no need for her to announce that I will not be wrestling again. I'm returning my award. This is nothing, just to gain the media sensation. And what for?
Okay, so this also is for media's benefit. This is also for media's benefit, Tehseen Poonawala.
I cannot accept that a woman who is accused of sexual harassment is trivialized in this manner. I'm sorry, I have to speak out about that.
Sabha, please. Navika ji, can you tell me another example of a man who the Delhi police has said was molesting women, and it's a very explicit charge sheet that the Delhi police has filed, where he was touching these women when they asked for protein, and he has not been arrested. He's obviously being protected by the current government. Otherwise, Delhi police would have to arrest him. Sakshi Malik and Bajrang Punia are not returning the medals while the case is going on. They're returning the medals because despite the most honorable Prime Minister promising them that aap mere parivar ke sadasya ho, action isn't being taken. By the same yardstick, action would have been taken under anyone else except Bajrang Punia, except Brij Bhushan Shant Singh, only because he happens to be a member of parliament from the BJP. He's being protected by your government. This is not about politics. This is about somebody using his power to suppress people, and that is unfair. But there is a report that Mary Kom was supposed to be given.
Please respond to the specific question.
How can you? I want to say, Ajay, I will give you a chance.
Actually, this. Okay, Tehseen, now please listen. Tehseen, listen. Listen to the answer. Simple. Just apply a common man's logic. Common man. Not a intelligent. A lot of intelligence is required in it. If the Home Minister of this country, if the Prime Minister of this country is protecting someone intentionally, Delhi police has the guts to give in the writing in the charge sheet that yes, the intentions were wrong. Just give me an answer. If Home Minister and Prime Minister were protecting Brij Bhushan Shant Singh, Delhi police would have given this in the charge sheet. Delhi police would have given this in charge sheet. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Because Supreme Court stepped in.
Come on.
But the process
don't defy the logic, sir. एक आम आदमी की तरह सोचो जरा. Just in your apathy towards Modi, just in your angst towards Modi, just your hatred towards Modi, you can go to any extent. This is the problem with you people and I.N.D.I.A alliance. You don't see logic in anything. You just apply your thing and my way is my way. Rest everything is subway. This is your problem. When you are going by the law, go by the law. You can't take law for your advantage.
So the law says he should
You can't take law by your own advantage. If there's an arrest case, arrest will issue. It will happen. Supreme Court is looking into the case. Unnecessarily you are making an issue. But you are deliberately ignoring the insult of the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. For you, that doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. Let me go to question number 7. Now let me go to question number 7. You know, this issue, is an issue where clearly the BJP will have to rethink its strategy, Ajay Alok. You can't be supporting one side just based on caste and not supporting the other side based on caste and a sportsman, pride of India and a woman issue. You'll have to rethink. I'll come back to you on that, Anand Ranganathan. But question number 7 on this survey that we asked people. What do you think about the mimicry of the Vice President in the Parliament complex? Now, this answer really should settle it all. This is absolutely wrong, say 40% of the people. 48% of the people, self-goal by the opposition, 23% of the people, that's 71%. Acceptable in a democracy, 11%, can't say 18%. 71% of the people believe that this is certainly not on, this is unacceptable. And has that really taken away the sting of the real issue of suspension? Because after being suspended, there was buffoonery going outside, which has made people see through the opposition MPs. It's a question the opposition will have to ask itself. Question number 8. What is your opinion on Rahul Gandhi making a video of the Vice President's mimicry? Shows lack of seriousness in Rahul, 30%. Rahul Gandhi should have stopped the opposition MP, 15%. And Rahul did, what Rahul did was right, 20%, can't say 35%. 30% people believe that Rahul should not have done it, and another 15% believe that Rahul Gandhi should have been stopped, or he should have stopped Kalyan Banerjee. I want to get in Abdul Basit of the RJD. RJD, India Alliance में एक तरह से कंसेंसस की कमी है और दूसरी तरफ मुद्दे अगर सस्पेंशन के उठाने थे वो सही भी अगर होते तो ये मिमिक्री ने कहीं ना कहीं उसकी सीरियसनेस छीन ली और लोग कह रहे हैं कि आप लोग बेसिकली तमाशा कर रहे हो, बेसिकली आप नॉन सीरियस हो अपने मुद्दों को लेकर। इस पर आप क्या जवाब देंगे?
नहीं, इसमें देखिए बड़ा स्पष्ट बात है कि इसमें अब राष्ट्रपति को, देश के राष्ट्रपति को बिल्कुल इंटरफेयर करना चाहिए, क्योंकि बहुत ही भयावह स्थिति हो गई है। 143 एमपी आप बाहर कर देते हैं और उसके बाद पार्लियामेंट सेक्रेटरी का कोई बयान नहीं है, कोई पार्लियामेंट सेक्रेटरी, कोई अधिकारी जैसी देश में चीज नहीं बची है। पार्लियामेंट सेक्रेटरी को चाहिए कि इसकी कंप्लेंट राष्ट्रपति को दे और राष्ट्रपति को डायरेक्टली इन्वॉल्व होना चाहिए। ये कोई तमाशा नहीं है, देश की संसद है। आप 143 आदमियों को धक्का दे रहे हैं, मार रहे हैं, दैट इज नो। आप वुमेन्स के साथ भी वही प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं जो मेंस के साथ कर रहे हैं। राष्ट्रपति जी को बिल्कुल आपातकालीन की स्थिति है देश में, एक वन साइडेड मामला है, आपातकालीन की स्थिति है देश में। पूरी सरकार को पूरा बिल्कुल हटा देना चाहिए राष्ट्रपति को, और वो राष्ट्रपति शासन लगा देना चाहिए हिंदुस्तान के अंदर और तुरंत इलेक्शन कराने चाहिए, जिस तरह की भयावह स्थिति है आपके पार्लियामेंट के अंदर।
तहसीन पूनावाला, people not supportive of Rahul Gandhi's videography, as well as the fact that, you know, he should have been mature enough to stop Kalyan Banerjee, certainly not be part of that.
Look, I concede to this survey, and ETG is a very good group, so I do concede that may be the perception. But ma'am, as Sabha rightly said, we are not discussing the root cause. Okay, so Kalyan Banerjee was immature. Perhaps Rahul Gandhi should not have videographed it. Fair point, I concede to that. But 146, 147 MPs kicked out, ma'am, for asking the Home Minister to speak on a terror attack. How is this justified? Everything else, ma'am, is effect. The cause is them being kicked out. You cannot separate the cause from the effect. What's happening is we are saying, okay, the effect is bad. And I concede to it. But the cause is much worse. So somebody is mimicking the Honorable Vice President and Chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Stupid, immature, perhaps even indecent. That's less indecent than people being kicked out. Than MPs being kicked out. That's less indecent. That's less indecent than MPs not being allowed to voice their opinion. Our parliament is no longer that hallowed walls, from the hallowed walls where opposition can speak. Sushma ji, I think she's told you once, or she told times now, that parliament belongs to the opposition. Government's duty to run it. If opposition don't protest in parliament, if they don't raise their voice in parliament, if they don't demand their home minister speak in parliament, where do they raise their voice? I'm asking this question with a lot of concern at what's happening to our democracy.
Anand Ranganathan, it's true. It's true, bills being passed without an opposition, not the most healthy sign of the way the parliament is functioning. But where is the onus? On the opposition? Should they be carrying placards and, tearing papers, throwing them on the speaker, or, is the accommodation the only weapon that the treasury benches have?
I think we are soon going to come to a conclusion that there should be no rules inside the parliament. So then nobody will be able to call out those rules and suspend the MPs. If that is what everyone wants, then let that be the case. If that is what Tehseen wants, there should be no rules. Then if there are no rules, then yes, MPs will not be suspended. But for heaven's sake, as long as there are rules that you cannot carry placards, you cannot do few things which these MPs have done, then on what basis a lawyer, esteemed lawyer as Tehseen, my brother, is saying that it is wrong for those MPs to be suspended? I gave the analogy of the Supreme Court. Do you think Supreme Court will stand if somebody, Chief Justice will not act? If somebody goes up, stands on the bench there and says, I am not being heard, I am going to carry this placard and I admonish
I'll answer that question.
Do you think the same? So if there is something like decorum,
that's not
either maintain it. Tehseen, one second now. Now, number two, let me very quickly come to the election today that Tehseen is outraging. Look, I also outraged and I was for the wrestlers who resigned. I was for them. Okay, number one. Number two, can Tehseen say that today's election of an aide of Mr. Brij Bhushan is not a democratically held election? Just say yes or no.
It is not democratically held because the forces of the no, and I'll explain to you. Just give me 10 seconds. I'll explain to you why it's not democratically held. Because the government forces enabled Brijbhushan Sharan Singh's group to win. Else they wouldn't have won. Starting from PT Usha and Mary Com. Please, Anand, please. Where is that Mary Com's report which Navika ji should have had in January last year? It's not come. These are champions who we've adored, who we've looked up to, who we bow down to. They have not supported people. Brijbhushan Sharan Singh is a thug and his people are bullying. His son-in-law, his son, everybody's in that federation.
He's a thug, very well said. What about Karnataka, where a minister comes in a private plane, talks about everything else but drought? You know, thugs, if you're calling somebody a thug, then well, thuggery is going around everywhere. That's the point. But Sabha, yes, Sabha.
Yeah, I just wanted to make one point to Anand, because Anand often has very interesting points. Is that, Anand, how do you compare a parliament where people are elected to speak for the people to court, where my lords come to order? Now, you can't compare that. Number one, I'd like to point out, that's not a good analogy. Secondly, there are rules, and parliament is also driven by tradition. Traditions that bills go to parliamentary committees. The government is not good with these traditions, this government. So the onus is very much on them to send legislation to committees, to have conversations about them and to make parliament work. And you cannot compare the Supreme Court to a place where opposition MPs are mandated to speak for people who are and they have won their opposition. They have a different divergent point of view and they need to be heard and they need to be respected.
Certainly. Who can deny that? But Sabha, the question is, just like in this debate, you know, I do a debate every night. If there were no rules, and if I did not impose the rules of people not speaking over each other so that the people who are our viewers can watch and understand, you know, there would be pandemonium here as well. So I'm asking you, when do the opposition MPs not actually create a pandemonium? So question is, are they interested in raising their issues, or are they only interested in making the government look bad come what may? There has to be a decision and distinction.
I think the opposition MPs also, if I'm being honest, their strategies are very poor. Because if you want to have a debate on certain issues,
absolutely,
yes, I understand their frustration, but then they began this session, and I know this, and you would know this, by telling the Congress party that do not hijack this with one issues, the regional party. They began it. Kabhi Adani pe baat ho gayi, Rahul Gandhi ka. Then they said they wanted to discuss. And then everything, but here the onus is also with the government. In this case, it's over. To suspend so many is just plain wrong.
Well, I can only tell you a sentence that Parliamentary Affairs Minister told me just in an interview this morning, and he said that after the statement of the Speaker, after the statement of Rajnath Singh ji, what happened was that the parliament did function. They moved over from the security breach issue, where a report was assured to be laid and discussed and debated, and they moved over. And for 45 minutes, there was an other debate, and everybody was participating, including Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. And 45 minutes later, his words, not mine, that there was a message and hell broke loose, and from that moment onwards they decided to create the impasse. In fact, they kept going to the Speaker to say, humko suspend karo, humko suspend karo. Was this deliberate to make the government look bad, or was it part of a strategy? Well, more of that coming out. Ajay Alok, you want to put in a word before I take the next question?
I would just like to say, Sabha, that she said that the parliament is being run by the laws and the traditions. Yes, they used to, and they are. But there are times also that we need to change certain traditions which are not in the good health of the country's democracy, and which is only there to serve the interests of a family or few families. No tradition in the parliament will be run to serve the interests of few families. The parliament will be run according to the books of the parliament. And traditions, if they are not healthy, they must be left out. That's a very clear and a stern message.
Well, Paul and Shakhtar is the rule book for the Parliament. Sabha, you know that, and I know that, and we've read that book several times over. Every member of Parliament reads that. But if they deliberately decide to go against that, it's not in the spirit of democracy. And that's also a question for the opposition to answer. But I'm going straight to question number 9 and 10. Question number 9, should elections be held through ballots instead of EVMs? Yes, it should be through ballot only. 6% support for the ballot. No ballots are regressive, 37% people say. Conduct 100% VVPAT verification, only 4% of the people. And can't say 53%, which people really believe that, I mean, this is really not something you should get into. EVM versus ballot. Is the public settling the debate? I'll ask you that question. But question number 10, the last question. Why is the opposition raising the EVM issue then? Covering up the reasons for defeat, 26% people believe it's actually a cover-up. Creating confusion, 31% people believe. Running away from real issues, 43% of the people. And Abbas Haider, I want to ask you this one. Because ye ballot paper, ye VVPAT, itna bada. Log keh rahe hain ki this is just an excuse. You don't have the real issues of the people. You are misguided about what you think is important.
Navika ji, even in your survey, 53% people have raised their concern over EVM, and democracy is about confidence of the people. And let me tell you, our parliament is not constructed by stone or cement. It is been constructed on the values of the tradition, custom, convention, and the rules. And the rule does not apply just to the opposition, but it also applies to the treasury. But on the contrary, if you see that, you know what hypocrisy the current government has done, we all know when a BJP MP threaten an MP of the opposition in the parliament, what happens to him? So basically this should not go on. And Bharatiya Janata Party, they think of themselves as invincible. Nobody is invincible, Navika ji. There is a share that बुलंदियों के सभी रास्ते ढलान से, they should understand that they are going down and we are going up, and this is going to happen in 2024. You're not invincible, sir. No. You look at your arrogance, that speaks for you. Look at your that is not confident, Navika ji. What Mr. Alok was saying, it was his arrogance, it was their overconfidence.
Navika, can I just come in here?
Anand,
because
yes.
I agree. Yeah. I have to agree with Abbas bhai, because it has truly shocked me. I am stunned by this results of this survey of your EVM, Navika. Please go back and check whether it is indeed, double check it. I am shocked. 53% of people can't make up their minds whether we need to go back to ballots or not. Are we living in 21st century? What's going on? We are all children of the
on ballots. On ballots, they are very clear. On ballots, they are very clear. 6% only want people to go back to ballots.
Clarify this, since I'm the petitioner here in EVM. Just Anand, I'll clarify one thing.
53 people say can't say. Maybe they think कि result सही है, ये ऐसे ballot और VVPAT कह रहे हैं. They don't even want to get into the debate. Maybe that's what they say.
No, Navika, can I make a point on this EVM since I'm the petitioner?
Yes,
after you, please. After Anand, let Anand finish. I'll make it after Anand.
No, I just wanted to say, we all remember as children what used to happen when elections used to be held through ballot boxes in Bihar, in Bengal, even now in Panchayat elections in Bengal. There are these horrible videos of people stuffing the ballot boxes with, through these paper ballots. So thank God we left that. And I'm shocked that only 4% want VVPAT verification. It should be 100%. And it is.
Yeah.
In fact, 2019 Lok Sabha election, one election commission came up with an amazing statistics. 100% single absolute matches between VVPAT and the people who voted through EVM.
But people don't think that is important, which means that they have faith that the elections are being conducted freely and fairly. And this whole jargon about, ballot paper, VVPAT, all this, because they say they are they're running away from real issues, 43% people. Sabha?
On this issue, I know what happened in the I.N.D.I.A alliance. So Congress, as you also know, was very keen to push this ballot paper thing. But the regional parties did not play ball at all with them. So they really didn't. So Congress thoda sa usme wo VVPAT, it came out with they wanted to have ballot paper with that. And look, it does happen in certain countries and whatever it is. But the point is, VVPAT full coverage, I would like that. That's
okay, all right. Abdul Basit ji, ये EVM का बहाना अब बंद होना चाहिए। वीवीपैट ऑल राइट, बट ईवीएम का बहाना तो बंद होना चाहिए।
नहीं, देश का दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र अगर कोई डिसीजन ले रहा है, ईवीएम इज ओके। ईवीएम से किसी भी पक्ष पार्टी को कोई वो नहीं, मगर जो ईवीएम जलाए जा रहे हैं, जो ईवीएम चुराए जा रहे हैं और वहां इनके लोग जो गुंडागर्दी करते हैं, उस बात को लेके इलेक्शन कमीशन को बहुत आगे आना चाहिए। ईवीएम डजंट मैटर, अब देश में ईवीएम का कोई मैटर नहीं है, मगर जो चुराया जाना और ये सब चीजें, तो वो ईवीएम वो सब चीजें कहाँ, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कहाँ है, चुनाव आयोग कहाँ है, ये सब देखना पड़ेगा।
अजय आलोक जी, ईवीएम चुराया जाता है और आपके लोग वहां पर चुराते हैं, ये अब्दुल बासित जी कह रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल, एब्सोल्युटली, बिल्कुल यही बात है।
नविका जी, आपके देश को एक जानकारी, आपके दर्शकों को एक जानकारी तो मिली कि गुंडागर्दी कोई कर सकता है आरजेडी या सपा से? ये अपने आप में सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न है। Well, my SP friend was saying something. I'll just have a quote of Tulsidas. जाको प्रभु दारुन दिख दीना, ताकि मती पहले हर लीना. The people of India have just lost their faith in him. This is their darun dukh. Among all India alliance, whether it is Congress, RJD, Sabha, DMK, they have lost the faith in them because of their deeds, the kind of work they pursue after coming to power. When we see today how Siddharamaiah was coming in a chartered plane, and when Congress party is asking for donation, absolutely, completely 180 degree shift. So the people, when you lost the faith of the people, you have lost in democracy. And when this happens to established party like Congress, definitely there is a mental imbalance. I have full sympathy for them.
Well, I only want to say, गालिब का शेर है, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमां लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले। अब अरमां सबके हैं कि जीत जाए वो चुनाव, जीतता वही है जिसको पब्लिक वोट देती है। And tonight we've got a glimpse of what the public is thinking about the issues of EVM, what they are thinking about the issue of mimicry, about the suspension. The question is there a real black and white situation? Are there shades of gray? Is the opposition picking up issues where even the correct issues are getting clouded by the manner in which they are being picked up? All of these issues do resonate with people, and getting the pulse of the people, that really is an art. Certainly not mimicry as an art form. It is getting the pulse of the people of India. That is the real art form for politicians to learn. Because the person who gets the pulse of the people, wahi Sikandar. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on this special edition of the Newshour Tonight. Good night. Stay safe.